Good evening, everybody, players, gamers, and friends. There's another night of Vodafone Play Talks, and tonight we have a special treat for you again, as you have been used to. I'm your host, Santa, as always, and tonight we're going to take it to another side of esports, an interesting side of esports, as we have seen the show it brings to the stage and to the crowd. But before that, what a better way to showcase this phenomenon rather than introducing my guests tonight. We have Barry, the Midnight Kid O'Halloran. How are you doing, Barry?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting us along. It's
Glad to have you here. Glad to have you here.
Cool.
Next to Barry, we have Guillermo Catalano. How are you doing, Guillermo?
Very well. Salute. That's
Salute.
all I know. I'm really happy to be here. I wanted to attend this tournament once again and to know Romania. I haven't been here before. I went to 50 countries, but Romania was not one of the 50, so I'm really happy to be here.
We're happy to have you both here, guys. And to kickstart everything, yeah, we were talking a little bit before, but just tell the people, how did Iasi receive you when you got here, and how was your experience so far in this event? Go ahead, you can go first, Fierita.
Okay. Well, I mean, we were wondered about. I didn't knew that it was a big city because I of course knew about Bucharest, but I don't want to lie, I've never heard of Iasi before in my life. I grew up in Argentina, so we don't know a lot about countries which are not so close to us. And you know, when I saw, I said, oh, but it's more closer from Moldavia than from Bucharest. So what will I encounter? And I encountered people really, really warm, really making an effort to communicate when my English is very bad. My Romanian is even worse. But you know, everybody is friendly and you have great wine. As an Argentinian guy, that's something I want to thank you.
Well, we appreciate it. We have always been proud about the wine and the food. But how was that for you, Barry? How was the food? How was the experience so far?
Yeah, I mean, as we'd say in Ireland, it's been good crack. So that's a little Irishism there. But yeah, it's been really fun. I mean, the event has been really fun. I've really enjoyed it. And similar to Frida, I've traveled a good bit as well, but I'd never been to Romania. So it's been nice to kind of, people have been very friendly. I think that's what's really struck me, is like everyone has been really friendly and happy to help us with things and stuff like that. But the event has been fun as well. So it's
one more thing is that in our world, in the eFootball world, Adrian Urma, the player that represents Romania in this tournament, is a really well-known guy. So we've worked with him for a long time. We crossed him in a lot of tournaments, and for me it was wonderful that he is from Iasi.
Yeah.
So when it was confirmed that everything was here, he was so proud. You're gonna come to my city. You're gonna come to my place, and he promised us a meal, but it still didn't happen.
I'm going to talk to him later on. I'm going to talk to...
He's holding him to that meal. You're holding
I don't want to you know, to tell this. I mean, I'm covering him. He didn't pay the food yet.
I'm going to make sure he's a good host. Yeah, by the end of this
You're
tournament.
just after landing him in it.
No.
That's what they say, you know.
Perhaps he will bring it 5 minutes after this interview. It may happen. But for now, we've seen his pride. We've seen his hospitality. We haven't tasted his food.
Okay. Let's go with Urma. Just with Adrian for a second. How did you fare about his whole let's say playthrough in this tournament? I mean, I know he's out at the moment. How was that?
I think he was a bit disappointed with where he finished in the group. I think because if he had gotten through, I think in the top spot, I think he would have had a slightly easier road there. But I mean, the standard that's in the tournament at the moment is incredible. So like, there's nothing between these players. Like, sometimes we're watching the games and people at home are watching the chat, or they're in the chat in the streams, and we'd be talking to them and they'd be saying, oh, this guy's brilliant, but it's literally like one moment of magic, like real football, I suppose. It's one mistake, because these guys are such high level, and if you make one mistake against them, they just punish you. So I mean, I'd say like Urma, it will be back obviously with his hometown, I think, isn't it? Yeah. So I mean, he probably was under a lot of pressure as well. You can't really, that's a big thing. He's under a bit of pressure.
I spoke 20 minutes
go
about
ahead,
Urma being from Iasi.
Yeah, I know, but I was just double checking.
My English is so bad. He didn't got that.
You talk so much, I just kind of zone out after a while, and just everything just sounds the same, you know. So no, I apologize, but I did kind of know I knew he was from here, but I was just double checking.
Yeah.
I'm nervous. It's nervous energy.
Come on, you've been doing this for a while, Barry.
No, I mean we've been doing it for a while. This is my first event with the IESF, but I've done other events as well. So this one is kind of being slightly different because my first one with Farita, and yeah, I mean he's like an Irishman.
I don't know if that's good or is it like a hurdle? You know, a race. I'm the hurdle. He's the racer. I'm the hurdle.
The synergy looks great.
Usually the Irish can't stop talking, but now with this, it's trying to get a word in. So, but no, it's been really fun, and we've had some good crack and good fun. And the best part is when we're on stream, like this guy does be just dropping like clangers, and no one can see except me or Wes, the other guy that does it. And he just drops it when we're meant to be like, you know, a player could be running up the wing, and he'll do something funny at the desk, but no one can see it, only me. So he like drops me in it, and then it's like a goal chance, and you're kind of laughing without trying to show, you know, keep it professional.
Yeah,
you know?
and you can't describe what's going on behind the desk because it's not funny anymore, right?
No, it's not funny. Plus, I mean, it's, you know, it's a family-friendly stream as well, so we have to keep things professional. But
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
no, it's all good fun. It's just banter and it's just fun. But yeah, it's been super fun. I mean, that's what it is. I mean, games are fun at the end of the day. So anything that does go wrong, or any, you know, thing that happens that, you know, if a stream gets delayed or if the players are not ready to play and you have to kill a bit of time, it's just about having that fun. And we've had a good bit of camaraderie, I think, as well.
And if we make a mistake, we would not hide it. We will just, I mean, being transparent is part of this thing. And in fact, the three of us, Wes, him and me, we are really passionate about this game. It's not that this is like a gig and tomorrow we are casting another game, or tomorrow we are doing whatever, hockey. No, we love this game. In fact, he has been the most important part of the community for a long time, with a project that helped many small teams around the world that want to be in the game. So he and Wes made that happen. So people know that we really enjoy this game. It's not that just we don't care. No, we enjoy it. We respect very much the players. In fact, I must say that this game has something that for me is special, and that's why I love it so much. It brings you friends. I mean, it happened to me that I went to some country, for example, to Austria. I didn't know no one. And I say, oh, I'm here in Austria, look at just the minute I arrived, I put a picture. And someone wrote me and say, oh, do you know, I'm from that community, PS, and say, let's meet. And I say, yeah, why not? And he showed me the city better than any tourist guide. And I know for sure that anywhere I go, I will throw a bottle to the sea and someone will catch it. Yeah. And that's amazing because this is not the most mainstream sports game in the country, in the world. This is not the one. But what this game is a game that has a very real community. So if you play this game, you know the other guys and you share something with them. I cannot explain very much what that something is. I will show it under the desk.
What makes it? I'm gonna stick with you, Barry, for a while now. What makes it so tight? What makes it so synergetic between these communities and yourselves? You've been broadcasters for a while, right?
Yeah.
You're behind the desk, presenting the game, the players, the community as well. What makes it so great?
I think it's what you touched on, what Farida touched on there, is that when you start to see the guys regularly, you start to build up your own little friendship with them. But because you're not players, you're not on the same level as them, you're doing a different role, you're casting. Yeah. You kind of get to a stage with them where you're really friendly and you have that relationship with them, but then you also have the disconnect that sometimes we have to not criticize them, but you have to, this is what I would have done, or this, you know, you have to analyze it a little bit, and that's where that side comes into it. I mean, I know there is that famous expression, if you can't do, you go in to teach, you teach, or whatever that expression is. But that's what it's kind of like with the commentary as well, is that we've played the game for years and years and years, you know, whatever iteration it has been throughout my childhood and growing up. And you just build up a bit of a friendship with the lads, and you have experiences that you just couldn't get anywhere else. And I have friends all over the world that I talk to more than guys I went to school with in my hometown. So it's like you become friends with guys through a shared love of a video game. And then when you put it to this level, you see the professionalism behind it, and you see of the players. I know there's money up for grabs and that, but the respect between the players and the fun they have is really like nice to see. So I would say that that's probably been the highlight for me, is like getting over here. It's kind of like being back in college, except instead of everyone's just playing video games. Like it's really nice to see, and you can have a conversation with pretty much any of the guys, whether it's Irma, whether it's any of the guys, Mestre from Spain. You know, they like to see you do well, and then you like to build up that friendship, as I keep saying, with them, while still being a little disconnected from it to be able to do your job. So, yeah, I mean, it's super fun. Like, I mean, you're probably the same, I'd say, are you? I'll answer for you.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Just nod once.
Yeah, for sure.
How was it for you? How was it for you, Barry? Coming from the player perspective, right? At some point in time, coming behind the desk. How was the transition? And do you prefer keeping on going with being behind the desk?
Yeah, I mean, as I've gotten older now, my glory days are well behind me with playing. I think. I mean, it's like a footballer where their legs start slowing down. I mean, your reflexes start slowing down when you're playing at game and at that level. And it's just the time then as well that the guys are putting in. I mean, they put in serious hours. So it is a young man's sport, I think, you know, apart from a couple of just guys that are ridiculously good, like Rox, them type of guys. But yeah, I definitely prefer talking about it rather than the stress of having to produce a performance on the pitch. I mean, 5-a-side is enough for me now in real life, I think, at this stage, and that's it. But on the sticks, or on the pad, it's definitely. I love analyzing games and love talking about the games, because I have a ton of knowledge in my head that you don't realize you have about something, but it's literally like studying a subject for 20 plus years that you just have it in your head. And you're the same, Frida. You're obviously. I was going to call you old, but I was saying you're a veteran. You're a veteran of the series.
Yeah, I have 3 years more than him, so that I think it shows up on how sharp my commentary is.
I'm gonna ask you, Fierita. Now, diving a little bit into the game, right?
Yes.
The audience back home, at some point in time, was wondering, is this what game is this precisely? Because it has a switch at some point in branding, right? Yeah. So people got used to it a little later. What do you think specifically about the current eFootball landscape? What's its future like?
Well, in fact, we are just days away of a new iteration. So there's a thing about this game which I talk a lot with the pro players. Like, for example, Alex Alguacil. He's one of the world's best players of this kind of game. And he says something which is very, very interesting. He says, a real-world football player has a career that has its ups and downs, but the game is always the same. I mean, if you're good, you're good. If you know how to kick a free kick, you know, and that's it. The goal is always the same size. The ball is always the same. It's always... Here, every time the game updates, they have to adjust. So that's something that doesn't happen very much in other professions. You know? I mean, think of whatever job or whatever artistic, you do one thing and you stick to it, you get better. But I mean, the subject doesn't change. Here, each update is like shuffling a deck. You never know what the cards are coming. So, for sure, I'm an old player. I would like to have like the Master League back. I enjoy my offline plays. I know that that's not the direction in which the game is going. But I don't lose my faith, because I think that if we have more players having a voice, and I think that part of my job is amplifying that voice. If we players have a voice, we can get some of the stuff that made this game into such a mythical stone in gaming back. But I understand that times change. Times change. I mean, back in the day, you saved money every month to buy the game. Now the game is free. So that's an advantage. But that advantage takes some other things from the game. And well, we have to deal with it.
Right. Can you elaborate a little bit on the advantages and disadvantages? Actually, the current state of eFootball throughout all esports. Where does it stand right now?
Well, I think that for sure what it needs is like a renovation of the players, and we will see this today. I mean, he was talking about Mestre. Mestre is like the youngest of the best Spanish players. But here, perhaps from Brazil, was Felipe Mestre, who has played for more than 10 years. So we are at the point, or in Dominator from the Netherlands. He has played like for more than 10 years in the top level. But today, the final, we're having a young Japanese and a young Iranese. So I think we're starting to have that push, that generation push. So what I would like to happen, it's not that what will happen, but what I would like to happen is the players to understand that they need to build an online presence. It's not just enough to play well. In fact, Mednasa from Germany is a guy that was a coach last year. He was, during just months between Bali and this tournament, he got so popular over the internet, and he's a good player, of course, because if not, you're not here, that he came as a player, and everybody on the chat was saying, I want to watch Mednasa game. We need more of that. We need more people that may understand that it's important to share. I mean, Barry has an excellent podcast about this game, an excellent YouTube channel about this game. You have to watch it if you're interested in. And I mean, we need more of that. But it's difficult for gamers, especially for pro gamers, to understand the entertainment value of it. I mean, this tournament can be done because people watch it. If people doesn't watch it, we will have no sponsors, we will have no events. So that's a thing that it's difficult to understand. In fact, also for in pitch football, it's difficult to understand. But it's a thing that the industry, quote unquote, must address. Yeah. So they need media training. And Santa is your guy.
Thank you.
He's plugging everybody here at this stage. You're plugging everybody at this stage.
How would you see now that Fierita was saying that you have been building your own presence on socials and on YouTube as well? What advice would you give to young up and coming players that would want to create a media presence?
I mean, just do what you enjoy doing and don't worry too much about if there's one person watching you or 500 people watching you. Like, I remember when I started like streaming properly, you might get 5 guys in the chat, you know, and that's probably my mother, my father, my 2 brothers, and then maybe some random guy that clicked on the link. But no, like, you don't, I think nowadays especially, and it's probably a wider social media issue, is that everything is for likes and clicks, and it's not just done for the enjoyment of it. Because if we were starting off now and looking at games that I want to be famous from, like, you might go to a different type of game, or you might even go to a different genre like CSGO that's been on here as well, and it draws big numbers. But I do agree that is tied directly to what Frida is saying, is you need to be able to have storylines. You need to be having, you know, it's Barry versus Frida in the final, or you need to have similar guys, Mednasa versus Indominator in the final, or Urma versus Roxa, or Hassan and Leva now that we have from Iran and Japan. Like, you need those storylines to develop over time, not just when an event rolls around. But that's probably a wider issue as well that, like, I'd love to see, because obviously I like a bit of passion and stuff. Like, I wouldn't be able, if I scored a goal at a stage like this, I'd get banned. I wouldn't be able. The top would be off. I'd have the Irish tricolour out. I'd be dancing around the place. But a lot of these guys are just kind of so focused on the game and winning rather than, maybe saying having fun is probably too simplistic of a way to say it, but that raw kind of energy you might get sitting at home on your PS5 in your own comfort zone streaming to the world, that's kind of gone. Because when I score a goal, I'm like out with a chair, you know, like going crazy. Whereas here, it's more focus, like, let's get through this game. But I think that's a brilliant point for Frida made, is to build up that media style, like, extravaganza, that when you do have a big matchup, I mean, that's what sells. I mean, as much as we like to see, you know, any sport in real world, a lot of it is sold by the storyline of, you know, oh, this guy's fighting this guy, or, you know, if it's a boxing match or UFC or whatever it is that people are interested in, or a big clash between football clubs. That is a huge part of it. And I think that is something that can definitely be improved off the pitch. And then on the pitch, there's a lot of issues as well in terms of the game needs to continuously improve, and you need new guys coming up the whole time to challenge these veterans of the game and, you know, upset the status quo a little bit, I think, is probably a big thing. And we've seen that in this tournament, so it's been great.
You're so right, because a couple of nights ago we had one representative from the esports charts. Yeah, they see everything in terms of viewership throughout the world, Twitch, YouTube, everything, you name it, right? And she was mentioning that influencer media is impacting directly now all big championships. For example, I can't remember right now, I think, I'm not going to say the name because probably it's wrong, but in Counter-Strike, you know, we have they have the biggest event would be the major, right?
Yeah.
And there was one guy from Brazil, Golesh. Yeah, Golesh, I think it's his name.
Okay.
He was having more views than the organizers themselves.
Yeah.
Right? And he was boosting up the numbers like nothing else. So I think you were precisely right when you're saying that the community needs to bring more media presence into it, right? And probably they would look up to people like you that are already doing it, taking an example out of it. But in terms of comparability with other esports, do you see eFootball being greater and greater?
I think so, because I think they've now, because of the model that they've gone with, I think one of the biggest things, or one of the biggest reasons for that was there's no, like, it's free to download, it's free to play, so you do not have any setup cost to play it. You can download it, and once you have a console...
When did this happen? Sorry, when did this happen?
eFootball, it rebranded from PES to eFootball, and then obviously PES was a fully fledged, you know, modes and all. I do think, as you say, I do think it will come. I think for anyone that's kind of an older fan, I do think those modes will come back. But I think they've been blown away by the success of the model they've gone with, which is that free-to-play mode. Because, as you say, the most popular games in the world now, video games, especially with youngsters, right, which is that perfect bracket that you want to attract. Like, there's an unlimited conveyor belt of young guys coming in, whereas the likes of Farita... You're like a dinosaur now, you know. Like, he's just old school. Whereas, well, you're not yet, but not far away, right? But no, like, on a serious note, right? You have an unlimited supply that's regenerated all the time with guys that are 14, 15, 16. Your friends are playing the game at school, whatever's hot at the time. I know eFootball got a massive boost when Messi won the World Cup.
No.
Yeah.
Messi won the World Cup.
Yeah. Luckily.
Didn't know.
Ah, come on.
Yeah, he didn't know that. Yeah, he didn't know that.
Messi, which team?
Brazil. But they did get a huge uptick, and that is because you see the game and you're like, oh, but I need to go to the shop and pay whatever. And it's like, no, you can just download it for free. And all the main games now that get massive viewership are mostly, I would say, free to play, like Fortnite and those type of games.
Yeah.
They have the access point or the entry point into it. You could start it today, and you could play me, who's played it for years.
Oh, really? There's no, let's say, difference in MMR that would bring you to a halt?
No, like, you can just download it whenever you want. I mean, it's free to download, it's free to start your club, and you just pick whatever players you want, and the more time.
That's great.
Yeah, it's really good. But then I think the fact becomes, or the objective becomes, what keeps you playing it. Like, you'll always have new guys coming in to play it, but there's only very few that will get to this stage that we're seeing here. So it's like bridging that gap between making it not impossible to get to a stage like the likes of Irma. If somebody, you know, if a kid here in Romania is like, I want to be the next Irma and represent, you need to bridge that gap, because not everyone can get there, but you can still have fun trying, I suppose, and just have a lot of entry points into it. That's not just the free-to-play model. So, I mean, I don't know what you think. You agree? Okay.
Yeah. Now I have a one for you, Fierita. I have one for you. Do you play football in real life?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
No. I love playing football, but I am the worst of them all. You can pick 9 random guys with just one leg, and I will be the worst of the 10. But I love to play, but I don't get invited because I'm too bad. But you know, on eFootball, I cannot play humans. I have a clause in my contract because my level is so high that I burn many consoles over the time. People got depressed. So this is real. You can search on YouTube. Fierita no juega con humanos. You can search that. That's true. I even have a guy from Konami giving faith that I made that pledge in Japan. Really, for sure. Yeah, really. I have no rivals. Yes, it's true. It's true. I mean, if I come back to playing, it might be the end of esports. So, as I prefer working, and traveling, I'm not playing anymore.
I think Barry's happy to take you on over here, huh?
Yeah, I think just in a best of three. We should open up before the third place playoff, me and you.
There's no money that can bring me back. I mean, I will just tell you a story. I'm a supporter of Banfield, very important Argentinian club, and one of the players from Banfield, Nico Bertolo, once I met him in the pre-match concentration.
Go ahead,
Say,
go on the mic.
he said, "I want to play with you." I say, "I cannot play." Come on, I want to play with. I cannot play with humans. And he was an hour. He asked for the manager, the coach, to talk with me. He said, "How come Fierita cannot play with me? He's a supporter. I'm a pro player." I said, "I cannot." And he didn't talk with me for 1 year because of that.
Just because of that?
But I don't play. I cannot play with humans. I mean, that was like 10 years ago. I cannot do it anymore.
Yeah, but if you were to get back into it, of course you were saying you
No, I can play other games. We can play Doom, Tetris, modern games. But I can, but I cannot play eFootball. Okay. For sure, I can play other games. Whatever you wanna play Fortnite, we can do that.
Which other, let's say, which top 3 other games you enjoy playing?
Whoa,
Multiplayer.
No. I play adventures. I play Last of Us. I play God of War. I play like Narita Boy. I love indie games. A lot indie games, graphic novels. Detroit Being a Human. Woof, that blew my head. But my favorite, besides eFootball, of course, my favorite saga is God of War.
God of War.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta give it that. I'm all about Norse mythology. I have Odin.
You will love that.
I played it a couple of times. I played the newest one. What's it called? The newest one, God of War.
The one with the kid.
Yeah, the kid.
Oh,
yeah.
That's beautiful. Ragnarok.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Go on,
an
boy.
Amazing game. Yeah. He's such a creep, Kratos. I mean, I like him, but come on, Kratos. You're his father.
Parenting.
Don't be so hard. Give him a hug sometime. Hey, come here, boy. Come on, guy. The guy will have nightmares. He lost his mother. The witch is coming. What more do you want from this little kid?
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! I haven't played it yet. Come on, you're after ruining the whole game. For everyone watching that hasn't. Oh, it's the first line. Okay,
First
fair
line.
enough.
You'll love it as a great parenting model.
Yeah. When I have a child of my own, maybe I'll sit down and play it while I'm rocking him to sleep or something.
Yeah, that's pretty tough. Now, guys, tell me about. Actually, do you play football in real life, Barry?
I still do. Yeah, I still do. Yeah.
Gathering up your friends and.
Yeah, we still play. We play once a week, but it's a mixture of guys. I don't play competitively. It's more kind of a social thing. So it's on like all weather pitch rather than normal.
Is
Sunday
it
league?
Is it the biggest in Ireland?
No.
Which sport is the
We
biggest?
we have two main sports. Well, we've 3, I would say, and I would say football is probably 4th. So we have hurling. I don't know if you've ever heard of hurling.
Of course, I
GAA
He's
hurling.
talking sports.
Yeah, that's a
Sports.
proper sport.
No, not board games.
No. This is a proper
But
sport.
Hurling is the one with the fat guys
No.
and the kettle.
No.
There's one
No,
kettle and they go clean.
No.
No. Is that hurling?
No, if anyone's watching and doesn't know what hurling is, they can Google it.
Yeah, it's the
Nah.
one with the tea kettle.
No.
They throw a tea kettle.
No. Hurling is with like a ball, like a tennis ball, except it's white. Although it's now changed color.
The other one is what?
Football, Gaelic football.
No. The one with the kettle.
The kettle, rugby. No, that's not in Ireland. Curling.
Curling.
Not curling.
And you said?
Hurling with a H. So hurling is like, the best way I could describe it is it's kind of like a mixture between hockey, except it's playing that the players can catch the ball and like solo with it, and lacrosse. It's kind of like a mixture of lacrosse where you can run with the ball. And then we also have our own football. It's called Gaelic football.
Walk us through a little bit through that.
So Gaelic football is similar to Australian rules. You know Australian rules?
Nope.
Okay, well it's basically like football or,
Like
soccer.
boxing.
No. Like football or soccer as they call it in the States, but you're allowed to use your hands. So you can run with the ball in your hands and bounce it and then
But it's
kick it.
It's an oval ball.
It's an oval ball like a football, but it's very hard to explain it.
It's like rugby,
Yes.
but they don't have.
Physical
you
contact.
don't, why
No,
you
they-
don't
they-
even know like
Yeah, no, but I know Australian football. They kick each other all the time.
Yeah, it's
they
very
punch
physical.
So it's
each other.
physical.
Oh, it's very rough, yeah. Like hurling is so fast, like it's
No, but
incredible.
curling is not.
No,
it's not
hurling.
Hurling.
And then we'd have rugby.
Erling
Kettle.
Haaland.
Rugby.
Erling Haaland. These guys don't know English, you know? I cannot understand very well.
I'm teaching you English on this trip, nearly.
Curling.
I should be getting paid double the fee just as your translator and for teaching you English. And then we also have rugby. We're strong in rugby as well.
I know that
Like
you
for the
played
World
us.
Cup.
You played us, the Romanians, a couple
Yeah.
of times.
Yeah, so hopefully this is our year. So like for football, for us, it's probably only when we qualify for a tournament, which is very rarely, that it actually explodes. I mean, we qualified for the Women's World Cup, the Irish Women's World Cup over in Australia. We didn't make it through the group stage, but it's tough because anyone that's good, I was explaining this to the guys, anyone that's any bit naturally talented at sport, usually if you're really good at one sport, you're kind of good at other sports, you know, like basketball or whatever. But in Ireland, it's like you have to like go through 3 sports. Like anyone that's really good will go to rugby, or a lot of guys go to Australia to play because it's professional. Our 2 sports are amateur, so there's no contracts, there's no salary. These guys just play and represent their county. So they just represent, like, say there's 32 counties, but it's just the Republic. So for hurling, but then for Gaelic football, it's all the counties. So it's kind of complicated. Yeah.
In Argentina, what we have near to that is like the hooligan battles, which each of them represent their county, but it's not amateur. They go for money. That is prize money is prize bounty.
I hope you never plan on coming to Ireland with that take, because you won't make it past Dublin Airport security.
The synergy between you guys is amazing. I have to give it that.
I enjoy working with Barry. Yeah, I enjoy it very much.
I can see that.
I don't. I just tolerate him.
I know how much the World Cup weighs.
Tell me, guys. Now, I'm not such acquainted with what goes on into all games in general. So please walk me through a little bit. How important are tactics in the football simulation game?
I would say very important at the moment, yeah. I mean, it depends what level you're going to play at, but similar to anything, like it's all about that setting your team up and then how you play on the pitch as well. There's 2 kind of styles, and it's actually very interesting as well for anyone watching, because there is different styles across different countries. We talked about some of the South American countries like Brazil and Argentina, where you love me saying this, but he loves the flair, you know. He likes every pass to be a back heel and samba style and all this. Whereas a lot of maybe the European guys, they have a more simplified approach to the game, but they do it at such a high level that they're able to they're almost kind of. And then I think when you have the likes of Japan and Iran, who've gotten to the final, and all those guys, they blend everything. They take everything in and they just blend everything, so they mix it up. So tactics really come into it, and it's more so how you adapt to it. Like we saw in one of the semi-finals, we saw Mexico, and he got kind of blown away in the first game, I would say, no disrespect. But the second game, he really changed everything, and he made a super game out of it. So tactically, it does bring it to another level. That these guys they're very sneaky. The guys that play, they don't show the screens. You know, they don't like showing what they do. So it's very hard to analyze what they're doing unless you really know the game, because they're like rapid through it.
And that shows how important tactics are.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that they hide, the fact that they don't wanna mention which team are they choosing, it shows how important. Because as Barry said on the stream many times, and Weza said on the stream many times, Weza FC, you have to follow him, he knows a lot. These guys don't have one plan. They go to the pitch with plan A, plan B, and plan C. And in fact, they use them, the 3, all the time. I mean, they already know the substitutions. You cannot win a match if you don't do substitutions. That's for sure. I mean, there's nobody here at this level that play as we will play at home, that we say, okay, you have to put start, and let's start. That's how I like to play. These guys will never do that. They move and here and there and there, and sometimes they try crazy things, like having a center forward playing on the midfield and having a midfielder playing defense because he's taller, and on top of that, in these tournaments we have something which is called balanced stats, that mean that the players have like an average value. So that shortens the difference. You can play with a smaller team against a very big team, and he won't have much advantage over you just because of the team he chosen. But on the tactic side, and in fact, we speak a lot of that during the stream because that's what you can learn watching this game. So the main thing of watching this game at home is learning that. And as Barry said, these guys know exactly like the animations. They know if the player is standing this way, he cannot do this. If he's standing that way, he cannot do that. So for sure, some of them are very mechanical because in a way they're trying to hack the game. They're trying to find the glitch. Yeah. You know, if you find the glitch, you have an advantage, you have an edge. But then sometimes it happens like the other day that one makes something like out of the box, out of the blue. He made a roundabout and me, you, or Barry will kick just away. Well, he didn't. He paused, he gave the ball back, and he had one newly entered player who had a lot of stamina. He ran right away, Pumba, and it's a goal.
Yeah. So how much does it come to real tactics or to real skill? What's the difference in winning a game?
I would say a mix of both, but yeah, it does come down at the end of the day to skill. Like, and whoever we watch, like every match that you see with these guys now, like that's here representing their nation, whether they went out in the first round or whether they've gotten to the final. There's nothing between them. It's just literally one or two chances that come in the game, and when you get them, to put them away, and that's to carve out the chances against top defensive guys that all know every single trick in the game, every single advantage. As Farida said, every single thing they can use to their advantage. I mean, we saw yesterday, we went to penalty shootout, and the guys were like back putting it behind their backs, the controllers behind their backs. Hassan, really? Yeah, the guy that's in the final, he got through 2 penalty shootouts, and he was like...
He was like this.
Yeah, he was like this. That's what I used to do against my older brother, like when I was younger. But on this level, it's funny to see it. You know,
do they actually, their opponents, do they actually take a peek?
Yeah, at the screen.
Yesterday also, but that's why they do.
Yeah, yeah, because you can see when you place, like when you play the game as much as they do, if you're in a position, they know, as Farita said, if I shoot here, I'm not going to score. So you know they're not going to do it, but it's stopping how to do it, and then you're kind of double bluffing because you might have 3 options. You might pick 2 right ones, but then the third one, you can see the goal and you're going home. So at this level, like with any esports game or any competitive game, it is margins. But tactics definitely could be improved as well, I think, to give more options, especially for newcomers, because these guys, they do things without even thinking, you know, and they'd find it hard to explain it to a newcomer to kind of dumb it down so much because they're just going through the motions. So for newcomers, yeah, it's definitely something that they could improve upon, but... Come on. Come on. The minute I start talking, you want to go back in.
Go ahead, Fierita.
No,
Go ahead.
and as we said earlier, next week with the update, everything starts from scratch. So I just wanted to add to the wonderful Barry's idea that if you want to start next week, you have a chance. Because the minute it starts, you will be more or less on par with these guys.
Yeah.
2 days. But after 2 days, they will beat you. But, well, you have 2 days of joy.
You heard it here from Fierita, guys. So go ahead, jump on it as soon as you can. Now, guys, coming to an end of our little talk, I just wanted to know a little fun fact about you two, because if you're talking about football in its different forms, right, being on a digital device or being it on the pitch outside, what is your favorite football team of all time or currently?
Mine is Banfield, I would say. No, Manchester United is mine. But yeah, but I grew up watching, I think my biggest influence was probably Roy Keane, who played for Manchester United and was captain. So it was either a choice between Manchester United or Liverpool when I was like in school with my friends. So yeah, they've been my team. And then obviously we had Cristiano. We had Cristiano when I was like a teen. So, I mean, what?
The one that lost against...
Yeah.
He's playing where?
Cristiano.
Where's playing now? Italy.
No.
France.
Yeah, Ireland. He's playing curling in Ireland. Yeah. He's the champ.
Not much different.
No, he's the champ.
From
But I do remember when I feel embarrassed saying this, but I do remember when Cristiano got the diamond earring.
Yeah.
I might still have a hole in my ear. Yeah. And
you did it?
It wasn't even a real diamond. It was like a cheap fake, and it like turned my ear a different color. because I didn't get it sterilized when I got my ear.
You just put it in.
I got my ears pierced, but I didn't leave the stud in long enough for the hole to stay open. I just put the that was a sore mistake, yeah. So I did get that, and I had the hair slicked back, and I mean, he was a big influence. I was only like what, 15, 16?
That's only normal.
Yeah, I mean, I was growing up, so yeah, and I used to play football myself, so it was kind of, before the freeze and all that, But yeah, that would have been, Manchester United would have been my team of choice, so.
How about you, Pierita?
Well, of course, I'm a Banfield supporter. That was my hometown. And this is a team for Premier League in Argentina. In fact, we were champions in 2009. And if I have to pick a team, I must sing you a song. Muchacho, ahora nos volvimos a ilusionar. The Argentinian team, La Escaloneta. This was amazing, best team on football history. After México 86, Diego Armando Maradona, who's my all life idol. I love Maradona. I can never get enough of him, his story, his myth. When I speak about Maradona, I'm not speaking about a football player. I'm speaking about a myth. And we can be ages speaking of Maradona. I love his story. I love all that happened around the world. And like he said, one day I was in my shanty town, and the other day I was on top of the world. And that happened in a week. And well, that's like an amazing story. And I love watching football. I love all the culture about the football. I've been to 3 World Cups, and I can never get enough. That's why eFootball is my favorite game.
Yeah. It brings people together, same as the community you were mentioning earlier. I just want to say, guys, it was a real pleasure having you here. I laughed so much tonight. Thanks. I needed this. I needed this so much. You guys are great. I'm sure I'm gonna see you around. One last question for you guys, and then I think we can close the night. What are you looking forward to in terms of concerts or activities to do until the event is gonna be over?
I'm flying home early in the morning, so I'm probably gonna miss everything, am I?
Yes.
I mean, unless. Yes. Fair enough. I'll just pass it to you. So.
I mean, he's just going out.
Yeah, he wants to go. He wants to see his family home, right? That's.
Yeah. I will stay here until the 6th. So if you are from Yash and you can invite me to a good typical meal, or we can have good wine. For me, food is culture, wine is culture, football is life, as Dani Rojas said. So I'm up for it. In fact, I will be doing nothing until the 6th. So if you are in Yash, @Fierita Catalano, you can search me, give me a shout out. If it's a family party, a birthday, I can go there, I can do balloon figures, whatever. I have no problem. But I want to go to a winery.
Okay, let's arrange that.
Nah, I don't believe you.
Guys, Barry the Midnight Kid, O'Halloran, Guillermo Fierita Catalano with you tonight. Me, Santa, as always. Thank you for watching. We have been discussing eFootball and football in general. You have heard it here. We're going to meet you next. After a couple of minutes, we're going to take a short break. Then we're going to be back with Moon Tune, Mobile Legends Bang Bang. Be there with you.